Title: Second player in real-life horror show lands a life sentence. TLDR. Timothy Leroy Norton, the second suspect in the chilling murder of Cassidy Rainwater, scores a life sentence after pleading guilty to first-degree murder. This marks the end of a 2-year investigation, with Norton's accomplice, James Phelps, having already landed a similar sentence. Dallas County Sheriff's Department can breathe a sigh of relief, but Sheriff Scott Rice laments the lack of a death penalty. Tragedy, justice, and uneasy questions coalesce in this harrowing saga. Let's hit play. From the creepy, cobwebbed corners of Missouri emerges the final act of a terrifyingly real horror drama. Timothy Leroy Norton, the second fiddle in this grim symphony, has been sentenced to life imprisonment. He pleaded guilty to first-degree murder for the death of Cassidy Rainwater, whose tragic tale started to unravel back in September 2021. So, the wheel of justice has made its final rotation, but has it truly brought closure? There's something disturbingly cinematic about this case, complete with grimy cages, macabre secrets, and heartless villains. It all began when the FBI received an anonymous tip, complete with photos of Cassidy's partially nude body inside a cage. Some of the images were so gruesome they could have been outtakes from a horror movie set. And this tipped off a weeks-long criminal investigation, turning a sleepy Dallas County into a real-life crime scene. Norton, along with his fellow perpetrator, James Phelps, were charged with kidnapping the 33-year-old woman, inflicting injury and terrorizing. Following the discovery of Cassidy's remains in a freezer, the charges were upgraded to murder. A fire, skeletal remains, a high school yearbook, and tales of a woman gone missing all wove themselves into the narrative of this nightmare. Phelps, by the way, was already handed a life sentence without parole, so Norton's sentencing brings down the curtain on this gruesome spectacle. This duo of doom never showed any remorse according to Sheriff Rice, who described their actions as a fantasy they had planned out. Are we not chilled to the bone imagining how such fantasies even come into being? But hey, let's leave the horror movie metaphor for a moment. At the heart of this story is a real woman whose life was cut short. Cassidy Rainwater was a former freshman from Harrisonville High School in Cass County who had ties to the Kansas City area. Her murder, as the Dallas County Sheriff said, required everybody that worked here to contribute many man-hours to it. But could more have been done to prevent it? The grueling investigation has also posed some unsettling questions. Sheriff Rice revealed that authorities had evidence that several other women may have been at Phelps' home at some point, sparking fears of other potential victims. Thankfully, all of them were found alive. Still, we can't help but wonder, how many more Nortons and Phelps are out there, and how can we ensure that the Cassidys of the world are protected from them? Perhaps the final word belongs to Sheriff Rice himself, who offered this sobering sentiment. I think it was the beginning of something worse. Just glad we stopped it before it got further down the road. Let's take that as